Do you not think that's gonna happen?
That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Because, again, my argument is the counter-pressing. Spain has the best counter-pressing. Recover with the ball. Spain does that well. So you don't expect Bellingham to be up front a lot because he's going to hurt the team. Spain will injure him. The thing we've always
You
said.
just say Spain will injure him like Wasm Kaba.
Spain will injure him.
They'll kick him.
No, not kick him. Not kick him. Not kick him.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Diski Preview Show where we talk all things football. And now because it's a little bit of the preseason, a little bit of the off-season, a little bit of some international football, we're talking all things Euro 2024. Let me adjust my seat, get ready for this conversation because Itila Nelegenti, he's in the house once again. And you know what? We have to give him his credit. Last time he was here, he said, Spain will win. They'll say I'm lucky. England will win. They'll say I'm lucky. Spain will beat England in the final. They'll say I'm lucky. So he's got 2 out of 3 correct. Today we have him back to make sure that his prediction has not changed since the semi-finals. I'm talking about, obviously, the legend, the myth, the man. uThisha's a game. Mr. uThisha. uThisha weDiski. How are you, Chief?
I'm right. More great display of football.
Cover the confidence.
Yeah. I hate saying I told you so, Faith. I hate saying I told you so.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Great entertainment more with Sport for Choice. It's a pity
Yeah.
it's now coming to an end, eh?
No, but it's not coming to an end because don't forget next week preseason Pirates is playing.
The Euro.
Yeah,
Now
the
getting
Euro is
to
coming to an end.
Yeah, the Euro is getting to an end. Exciting. Now he's talking about
Some
Pirates.
yeah. Rulani just joined the Wydad.
Rulani Chiefs has a coach.
So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a big season for us here at the Diski Preview Show. But let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the semi-finals. We'll start off with both semi-finals, then we'll talk about the actual prediction for the final. So if you think uThisha has the sauce and uThisha has the right predictions to make sure that you're winning with your bet slip, stay tuned. You're watching the Diski Preview Show.
And if you're liking the show, please click on the like button. And most importantly, if you're yet to subscribe, please click on the subscription button. Subscribe. It's long face.
Rasmus Højlund, thunderous. It's an absolute net buster.
Right, let's start off with the first semi-final. That was Spain versus France. You know, it's easy to forget who they were facing now that they've won the game. But it's Spain versus France, and we, unlike usual times, we don't want to talk about stats. We're going to talk about, obviously, you saw the win for Spain before the game even kicked off. A lot of people are saying that Spain is the best team in the tournament. So I just want to get your thoughts around what drove your prediction for this game.
Look, Mo, from the beginning, from the word go, I say to you, the players that Spain has, they are players winning. They have that winning mentality. I told you, that Real Madrid factor, the Barcelona factor, is going to play a crucial role.
Yeah.
Youngsters, Abu Yamal, it's their time to shine. They're doing exactly that. And also, what Spain did right, congrats to the coach, you know. He balanced youth and experience. You look at the back for Spain, they still have Navas, the 30-year-old Navas. You got experience there. You look in the mid, you have Rodri controlling, bossing the mid there. Experience. You look up front, you have who? Umarata, the captain. Experience again. What does that tell you? Spain Sabo is consisting of experience. And then on the side, you have your youth. And what did he do again? He's using two wingers. Most coaches don't opt for that. They prefer one. He's using 2. What does that give you? That gives you more options going forward. How many goals have Spain scored? Spain has scored the most goals in this tournament. And Spain is yet to play extra time or penalties. What does that tell you?
No,
You
they
look at
played extra time.
against who?
In the build-up to this game, they didn't play extra time.
They played
yes.
one. Played
Yes,
one against
yes.
each German.
Yes,
But that was
yes.
bound to. Otherwise, Spain has been terrific, more. They've been terrific.
Right, so obviously they've been terrific, and now that we look at the result and we look back, do you think they did anything different against France to win that game? Because obviously France also, what can we say? They didn't have the teeth. They didn't look like a team that was going to score 3 or 4 goals in that game. So do you think it's a matter of like France underperforming, or is it a matter of Spain just being undeniable?
France, taking nothing away from France, they didn't underperform. They actually performed. What was key about the game is Spain. I think Spain has the quickest recovery. You must watch Spain when Spain loses the ball. they're very quick on the ball to get the ball back. So as much as Spain, we've known Spain to be a positional play to keep the ball, but also now recovery. And also with these wings, what's happening? So Spain does what now? Keep the ball, then transition. Give the ball to the wings. Nico Williams, terrific. Uyamal, terrific. If you check even the goals, yes, as much as they have wing plays. Umarata, how many goals has Umarata scored? Umarata hasn't been that effective, but what the wings are doing, they're causing havoc for the defenders. They're messing the defenders around. So it's difficult to play against a team like Spain because you never know what to expect. Pedro was out. Injury. Pedro got an injury against Germany. We thought, now Spain is going to be in trouble. Dani Olmo came in. Perfect substitution. He took over. He's having a terrific tournament now. He's scoring crucial goals for Spain. So to conquer Spain, what do? It's very difficult. France did have a terrific game, but Spain, they've proved. You beat Germany, the host. You beat France, the World Cup finalist. What more do you want? Now you come and you face England.
He's getting too excited. Let's get to the other side of the conversation. Obviously, we've spoken about Spain and France. Let's get to Netherlands versus England now. I don't even know if we should take a break for that one or just jump straight into it. I think we should just jump straight into it. It's going to be a very big conversation because, first of all, you're talking about the Netherlands that I believe deserve to win. And I just want to make the statement that in that game, football died in that game. And then I'll put my case forward as to why football died in that game. We come from a time where we grew up watching, your Tony Pulis, your Steve Bruce, your David Moyes, your Jose Mourinho, a time when football believed that defensive rigidity was important to win tournaments. I mean, there was even statements made that if you have a good defense, you'll win titles. If you have a good attack, you'll win matches. And now we're looking at a situation where positional football has taken over football. So 2010, the birth of the new era of football came around. We went from having big number 9s and wingers that can cross to now having fullbacks that do the crossing, wingers that come in inverted, and a number 9 that plays as a false 10. You understand? So it's a new generation of football that I believe was brought in by Spanish football through the 2008, 2010, and 2012 Spanish side. 2012 Spain went to the Euro. They played Fabregas as a false 9 and they won the tournament. I think that gave birth to players positions like what Firmino was doing for Liverpool for quite a long time. What Suarez was doing for MSN when Neymar and Messi were still playing at Barcelona. So I think Ronald Koeman approached this with a classic style of football. He approached it the way he knows football. He started with 3 centre backs. He started with in fact, three centre backs and understatement. He started with a back four that has 3 centre backs. He went for a double pivot in the midfield. He went for defense, opting to go on the counter. You understand? I think from now on we'll see everyone try and play the same type of football because they think possessional football is success.
And you want to know how England won the game? Exactly that, possessional football.
Yeah,
I told you, Mo, we had this conversation last week and you were going on about in Netherlands, statistics, tactics, none. And I told you with England can match in Netherlands. They did exactly that. If you check England play, if you watch the game against Netherlands, it wasn't the England that I've learned to see or I've watched in the tournament. They played a different style of football. You spoke about Spain. Would Spain introduce this positional football? That's what England did. England was playing positional football. England was starting the ball from the back. I was surprised. I told you again, Uguti, for England to win, that's the kind of style they must play. Whose influence? Pep's influence. Starting from the back, you have your Stones there, you have your Kyle Walker. That was bound to happen. I expect that to happen. And that was the only way England was going to win the game. You come to the winning goal. Who scored it? Watkins. As much as maybe Southgate might be in denial, but he knows the truth. He had to sacrifice Kane. But
bear in mind, it's something we discussed a couple of weeks ago on this very show, where we said you need to bench Ronaldo when you need to bench Ronaldo. Remember we had that conversation.
We had that conversation,
and then now Harry Kane gets benched, they get the winner. What would have happened if Harry Kane stayed on?
They were not going to get the goal. Maybe they were hoping to go to penalties again. I mean, England is enjoying penalties. They want to do what they did against Switzerland. They're enjoying penalties, but it worked for them to bring in Watkins for Kane. Yeah. Now, this is where the headache starts now. You have a final, you're playing Spain. Do you bench Kane or do you start Kane? Because we can have a long debate. You start Kane for experience. He's playing in for Bayern Munich. They're in Germany. These games are being played in Germany. You have Watkins. You're talking about your false 9. Teams are opting to play with the false 9.
But do you
So
not-
start Watkins. Watkins can
do
be
you
your
not-
first
do you
nine.
not think that if only Watkins starts the game, because I know as a Liverpool follower, that conversation where people always speak about Divock Origi as a legend, and Divock Origi came off the bench and always had an impact. But when you play him over 90 minutes, I think now he's at Norwich and they're trying to play him over 90 minutes, and he's not that guy. He's not getting the goals. You understand? Only Watkins scored a goal against tired legs. You understand? The decisions that were being made in that move as a whole was just tired decisions. I mean, you look at England in the first 30 minutes of that game, they were hot. For the next 30 minutes of that game, from 35th to 75th minute, they were dead. You understand? They weren't creating chances. They were just playing the ball, trying to keep possession, because our Foden came in. Foden had about 5 shots at goal in the first 30 minutes. But you look at the next 30 minutes after that, he was quiet, dead. You understand? And everyone else was quiet and dead. I mean, you look at Kane as well. I mean, even the penalty that they received. You look at that team for that started the game. Those guys were tired. They gave 30 minutes, and I said this to you in our previous episode that they played 4 hours of football before that game. So they came in the first 30 minutes, they were like, no, let's go hard. Let's try push. And they pushed. But it has these limits. 30 minutes into it, now all of a sudden England have slowed down. Now Netherlands has the ball. Netherlands comes into England's half of the pitch. Now Netherlands is the one doing If Netherlands did the pressing like they were supposed to, in that 30 minutes, they would have won the game because those players didn't have any gas anymore. And look at where the impact came from. The impact came from the bench. When Cole Palmer came in, when Oli Watkins came in, you understand? So, look, give it to Gareth Southgate. He played it well. He knew that his first team, the players that started the game were tired. So the moment he started making those changes, you understand? Because if you look at how the goal came about, Declan Rice makes a diagonal pass into a window where he thinks, okay, there's 2 players there, I can play them. Now, Virgil van Dijk is not going to run with Cole Palmer. You understand? So Virgil van Dijk stays in his position. He's hoping that the player behind him is going to keep the offside trap, because if you watch that move very carefully, he tells them stay up. But what happens? Nathan Ake follows the run of the wide man, which I think I forgot who was playing wide, but I don't think it was Saka, because Saka was benched also. So Nathan Ake follows the run of the wide man. Né? Behind them, the Fry is following the run of Oli Watkins. So where Van Dijk is standing is where the offside trap is supposed to be. But because those 2 players are tired now, they've played 90 minutes of football, their legs are, and the brain is gone. They follow the man. They no longer follow the offside trap. So when they follow the man, by making that run, that guy pulls Nathan Ake out of position. No, he's wide now. The pass comes in, finds Cole Palmer all on his own. Van Dijk is not going to go there to mark it. Van Dijk is like, okay, let's shield him so that he doesn't get the pass in. So by the time he gets the pass in, the Fry is keeping him on side. So what I'm saying is, there's a lot to talk about it. I just think England were lucky in that one move, because those were tired legs, and Ronald Koeman didn't actually make the right change.
Let's give Southgate some faith.
We have to give Southgate his props.
Perfect.
We have to give
If
him
you look
props.
at that's like saying, if you look at Cole Palmer, he did exactly what he's been doing for Chelsea,
Exactly.
coming in second half and have that influence on the game. So now you come to a final, do you start him?
No.
Starting him, that will kill the game. At the same time, you need him again.
So-
Because what's going to happen with Spain, like I was telling you, Spain is quick to retrieve the ball. If you start players like Abo Watkins and Abo Cole Palmer on the bench, by the time you want to put them in second half, there will be 3 goals down.
Okay.
Spain has lad.
Let's hold it right there, because I see uThisha has now moved on to the prediction for the final. So let's start discussing the final, because I think we've covered the 2 semi-finals in depth. You were right. You were lucky twice.
Okay.
Lightning struck twice. So let's get into the final, because I see now we're getting into that discussion about England versus Spain, where we no longer talk about England versus Netherlands. So stay tuned. Let's talk about the final itself, the Euro 2024 final. Welcome back, and that short break was just to get you ready to have this conversation with us. It's all about the Euro 2024. We've spoken about the 2 semi-finals. If you missed that, click on the previous chapter to go watch it. But for now, we're going to talk about this match in particular. uThisha has been correct with 2 predictions so far out of the 3. He said semi-final 1, Spain would go through. Semi-final 2, he said England would go through. Although most of us thought that Netherlands would be the one to go through. I didn't mention the whole scandal about match fixing with the referee from 2005. We want to keep this conversation clean and away from that. We're here to talk about football and football only. So let's move on to the final itself. Now, I want to start it off by profiling the two finalists, because I know you spoke about Spain, the two wingers, and you understand. So I just want you to reflect a little bit on what Spain is now versus what Spain was. Because after 2012, Spain kind of disappeared from the international scene, where we had Diego Costa up front. They've tried everything. What do you think is different about the Spanish side? Starting from the coach. Let's start with the coach. What do you think is different in terms of that man standing in the dugout than the previous coaches that they've had in recent times?
No, I think Spain, they kind of lost culture, I think, from 2012. They've refrained from what we know, Spain, the kind of football to know.
Yeah.
I think maybe with Pep leaving is Spain.
Barcelona, yes.
Now the focus shifted to the likes of England. Hence now we're saying England is bring it home. So the focus was no more away. The focus was no more in Spain, but into football. We talk about a football evolution of football. That's what happened. It evolved. Quite a manje, they went and sat down. Babon with no man. You're not supposed to fix what's not broken. Why fix what's not broken? Now they're going back to their own style of play, and it's working for them perfectly. It's working for them perfectly. I always say it more every time we speak about a conversation regarding football. A position play will win you games. What can you do without the ball? It's you need the ball. Keep the ball, so you decide what you do with the ball. Without the ball, what can you do? You're gonna wait for your opponent to make mistakes. Rather have the ball and you decide what to do with the ball. What the coach has done. Excellent selection of players. I think he's also lucky. I think with the players that he has chosen, like I said, also the Real Madrid factor, with them taking a Champions League, these guys come there in fact with their heads are held up high. Which we are championship stuff. We are championship material, and we're about to take this. We're gonna win this again. We're gonna do what we did in 2012. Yeah, but big things are coming for Spain. Also, these young boys, I must say, a selection of Yamal. He's not there to add numbers. He's there to play, to perform. He's breaking records for being the youngest player. The goals he scored, we must talk about that goal. His first goal in the Euros for Spain.
But Foden also attempted the same thing and hit the bar against Netherlands. So if he had scored that goal, would we be then speaking about Foden the same way we're speaking about Yamal?
Yeah, most definitely. Foden, for me, came into this tournament as one of the players to look out for. Yeah, but I think his structure or the formation or the format that Southgate went for, it didn't favor him. He's been out of this tournament. It didn't favor him. But now, guess what? Now we're in the final. Foden has been in the Champions League final. He knows the center stage. He knows the occasion. He can handle the occasion. It's about time for him to come through. Bellingham, for me personally, I've always said he's favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. Lead England to victory. Or not even lead them to victory. Score a goal.
And win the Ballon d'Or.
No arguments. Ballon d'Or is yours. Who else will take it?
You mentioned the Foden conversation, and we want to talk about Yamal and Foden. When you look at Spain's setup on paper, Yamal is playing right wing. When you look at England's setup on paper, Foden is playing left wing. But when you look at England in play, especially against the Netherlands, you see Foden sitting in a pocket just behind Saka, where you think maybe a number 8 would be in that little corridor. You think a number 8 would be playing there. But what's happening is as soon as England kick off, Foden goes from the left wing, comes into that little corridor next to Saka. Do you think that's on purpose, or do you think that he's been given a free role to find himself in that team?
I think he's a bit confused.
But do you think it's an instruction from Gareth Southgate to say, on paper I'll put you on left wing, but as soon as the game starts, I want you to come around and play in this pocket here, and then I'll get Trippier to play in the left wing position?
I say confused. A reason for that is England is short. I've always said more. I'll say it again. It's short of a player like Rodri. To have that balance there in mid, to organization, you need someone to organize that midfield. So what happens with Foden? If Foden, the way Foden plays for Man City, he knows if he plays your number 10, if anything happens, he loses the ball. He has Rodri to cover up for him.
Yes.
With England, it's different. With England, if he plays that position and loses the ball, what's going to happen? You have Umaino, you have Declan Rice. They don't have that skill that Rodri has. So you're going to be in trouble. So now he's scared. He doesn't have that freedom to have that free role for him to do whatever he wants. So as much as he gets the ball, he wants to take them on. He knows if he loses the ball, he's going to be in trouble. So it's a thing of, you can see, you would know, man, what I'm being instructed to do is not working for me. But now, problem is, if I change what I'm instructed to do and I do things my way and things back out, I would have cost the team. So now it becomes that thing with, now, what must I do? Do I do what I think can work for the team, or do I do what I've been instructed to do? If I were to ask you, Southgate, the last game they played against the Netherlands, they had positional play. They were playing position football. Do you think it was Southgate's instruction?
I think the reason I bring this up is because you're right in your observation, but at the end of the day, Southgate controls the substitutions. So it's a matter of like, if you're saying that the players have gone rogue, then it's a matter of like, those players would then not be accepting of the substitutions that he's making, which is basically also the exclusions that he's making. So now, whether Phil Foden, who started most of the games in this tournament, people have said Phil Foden had his best 30 minutes in the tournament against the Netherlands. And the reason why people are saying that is because he had the most shots in the whole tournament against Netherlands. You understand? And if you look at what he did, was he moved from the left wing. I mean, on paper, I mean, the formations we see before the game starts don't necessarily reflect of they don't reflect the football that's being played.
Correct. Most
so
definitely.
That's the thing I'm trying to figure out, because even if you say he's playing a free role position, he's not playing a free role on the right and the left. As soon as he gravitates to the right. And he forces Saka to play out wide, which forces Kyle Walker to play deep. You understand? So Kyle Walker can overlap. You understand what I'm trying to explain? But at the same time, the goal that was scored in the game itself had that double overlap. So Cole Palmer came in, and then he did what Foden did. He sat in that pocket to the right-hand side, off the winger on the right, creating an extra man in that position. So I don't know if it's brilliance from Southgate to say, I want an extra man in this pocket exactly, and that's how he killed Netherlands. And even in the first half, when Foden was having the best match, maybe it's that pocket. So, and if you look at Trippier, I mean, if a player is acting rogue and he's going there, why would Trippier then fill that space? Unless if the strategy was always that you're going to go in and fill that space, play left wing, while this guy comes in and plays on the number 8 position into this corridor and plays out of there. So it's something I observed in the semi-final, and I think maybe we have to give Gareth Southgate his flowers, because I think in that position he got it totally spot on, and that's what actually helped him win the game. But now let's talk more about the forward players. I mean, we've talked about your Phil Foden now. We've talked about your Yamal. So what is the influence of a player like Saka and Nico Williams to the respective teams? Because Nico Williams, obviously, if you want to equate him to a player who's playing in club football at the moment, is Jeremy Doku for Manchester City.
Correct.
So do you think that balance between Yamal, the left-footed cut inside cross, and Nico Williams, the right-footed dribble, cut into the box and shoot, what do you think these players offer in difference in terms of Spain?
Again, if you're going to play positional football, you always need a Doku. You always need a Williams. You always need a Yamal.
You say it like it's a recipe, like you're cooking.
It's a recipe. You need that. You need that. More. I always say individual brilliance is what is going to win you the game. Play your touches, observe the pressure, play, give it to individual brilliance. The minute you think, Guti, now they're playing this passing game, the guy does what he does best. Individual brilliance, dribbles two. Remember now, if this individual brilliance, you dribble past two guys, it means one of your players is now free. You've created space for him. He's now free. Now you can do a lot of things, being free. So now what Spain does, you have two guys who are capable of doing that. What does that give you now? So now it means you have two guys who are free, because you have two guys who are going to beat two men each. And it's a definite they will beat them.
So,
showcase.
Rodri has been very influential in terms of finals for Manchester City. We saw it against in the Champions League final where he scored that winning goal. Do you think it's going to happen again once again in this final? Will he be the player to score the winning goal in the final against England?
I have no doubts. I think we must go back. To our records. When last did Rodri actually lose a match?
Yeah.
Because I know for Man City, it's a lot of games. I don't know for Spain, but it's a lot of games. It's a lot of games. I watched Spain playing France.
Yeah.
Ukante was there in form. You saw what Rodri was doing there? Just bossing the mid. Bossing the mid. And if Yamal doesn't score the goal that he scored last time, Rodri is going to score that goal. So that's the advantage of what they have. Rodri is there to mark, kill all the loose balls. And if you play a defensive or you play a low block against them, Rodri would definitely hit those balls outside the 18 area.
So I want to take this conversation to the Ballon d'Or conversation. The reason why is because right now you said something earlier on about Jude Bellingham. If he goes on to score or wins this final, he's the Ballon d'Or winner for sure. Now, obviously, Ballon d'Or, there's a top three. So do you not think Rodri should be sneaking into the top three? Especially now that Ronaldo is not going to be in the conversation. First of all, he plays in Saudi. He didn't even win the league in Saudi. He came to the Euros. He didn't even win anything in the Euros. No top goal scorer, nothing special. Obviously in Saudi, he is the top goal scorer, yes. And then you look at Lionel Messi, who's playing in the MLS.
Thank you
and
for
now,
mentioning Messi.
yeah, that's what, he plays in the MLS, and now he's in the final of the Copa America. Do you not think, besides Bellingham, is Rodri not in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or?
To be fair, I think you know why they've made these individual awards like a defender of the season, midfield of the season, striker of the season, is to accommodate players like Abo Rodri. Because as much as Abo Rodri are your match winners, but now we tend to look at goals because goals win you matches. Rodri will score, but he will score like once in a while. Yes, crucial goal, but he'll score once in a while. We have Jude Bellingham, who will be scoring in and week out. And yes, crucial goals. We look at if we're going for a goal of the tournament. Doesn't yes, Yamal's goal is leading. But remember Bellingham's first goal. That bicycle kick. It can. Would that surprise you if he wins goal of the tournament?
Yeah, Puskás. Yeah.
Those are the kind of goals we're expecting. I mean, when it comes to Ballon d'Or, I think players like Xavi, players like Iniesta, they deserved a Ballon d'Or. But the way criteria is set up, players like Rodri will still not get
but
a Ballon d'Or.
Xavi and Iniesta made it into the top three, which means they were in consideration to win it. I believe there was a year when Iniesta was in the top three, where Xavi was also in the top three. And it happened in quick succession between 2010 and 2014 maybe. But at the same time, you look at it now, there's no Messi. There's no Ronaldo to be added to the conversation. I know Messi will win the Copa America, but is that enough for him to be included in the conversation and to win it again?
Nah, I don't think. It's up to these young guys now, Obo Bellingham. Coming to these tournaments, also uThisha is playing the Copa
He's been knocked out.
America. Unfortunately, Brazil had a terrible tournament there. And before these tournaments started, uThisha was actually favorites to win the Ballon d'Or.
It was,
but
yeah.
with Brazil having such a poor display in the Copa America, I think he slips now.
But
on the other hand, is in the final.
The conversation about Brazil is a different conversation altogether because Brazil has lost its flavor. They don't have what made them Brazil in the first place all those years ago. I mean, you look at Brazil 90s, you look at Brazil early 2000s, you look at Brazil now, it's not the same thing.
And opposite with England.
Yeah,
Brazil has lost its flavor. England has got its flavor.
Do you not think that England is just a continuation of what they've been doing for so many years? Is that now that those same talents are able to move on and go play elsewhere? Because what would have become of Gerrard if he had taken the contract with Chelsea? What would have become of Gerrard if he had moved to Real Madrid like the offers were asking him to do? What would have come of Lampard if he actually moved on abroad? You understand?
That's what they were supposed to do. That's why I said also, if you go back to these shows, I've said to you, you know what's going to change for England? Why England is going to do well?
Yeah.
The exposure. Guys like Abu
Bellingham,
Bellingham, they're playing abroad now. He's playing in Germany. He's bringing that Bayern Munich experience. Players like Bellingham, he's playing for the best or one of the best teams, which is Real Madrid. He won Player of the Season there at Real Madrid. That influence is going to work well for England. It's exactly what's happening in England. I think Bellingham hasn't had one of his best tournaments, but with him being there, his presence, it means a lot. I think with Bellingham just stepping on the pitch.
Do you not think it's going to happen the same way it happened against the Netherlands, where Bellingham finds himself having to play deeper than usual and trying to play the ball out because his team is pressed in? Because we know that Spain's going to dominate possession. That's for a fact. So do you not think that Bellingham is going to find himself having to play a lot more defensively, playing closer to the 6 than playing closer to the 10? Do you not think that's going to happen?
That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Because, again, my argument is the counter-pressing. Spain has the best counter-pressing. Recover with the ball. Spain does that well. So you don't expect Bellingham to be up front a lot because he's going to hurt the team. Spain will injure him. The thing we've always said.
You just say Spain will injure him like Wazum Kaba.
Spain will injure him.
They'll kick him.
No, not kick him. Not kick him. Not kick him. Not kick him. You speak about
Yeah.
England having a disadvantage of playing a lot of extra times and going through 2 penalties. Now this is going to count against them.
But they
The
played 90.
minutes they've played, yes, but going back, the minutes they've played, now it's going to hurt them. You saw what Spain are doing. You're the one who said between 35 and 70 minutes, they're out, tired legs. With Spain plays the whole 90 minutes. Spain won't relax like Netherlands. Spain will play the whole 90 minutes. And if England is not careful, remember that score there in the COSAFA Cup when Angola played? That 5-0. If England is not careful, that 5-0, we're going to see in this final again.
So now let me take you to closer to your prediction now, because now we've spoken about both teams. I want to talk about what I perceive might be a weakness for Spain. Spain squad depth. Do they have a replacement for Yamal? Do they have a replacement for Nico Williams if those players are not available in that game? I saw when they played against France, Alvaro Morata was injured by one of the stewards. So do they have replacements for those 3 players?
Unfortunately not. That's the unfortunate part.
So what happens?
That's
what
the
happens
unfortunate
if
part.
those players are not available, or they get into the England game and 10 minutes into it they get kicked and they're out?
Then Spain is in trouble. I promise you that. Then Spain is the same as England. Just like we've been saying, with England has had that first 11. I think we can easily predict the first 11s for England and for Spain. Without Yamal, Spain is in trouble. Without Williams, Spain is in trouble. However, I must say, I didn't expect Udani Olmo to have such a great tournament that he's having. I was worried when Upetri came off. But then now you look on the bench, if Yamal was to be injured, what would happen? It would mean trouble for Spain. So even if England were on the best on the day, you have a player like Spain, you're defending with a player like Unavas, 30-year-old Unavas. If you can bring Ufoden and make him be on his best on the day, attack Unavas, things will happen. Things will happen for England. But now, is England capable of doing that? Umaino had a wonderful game. I wish Umaino can start this final.
He will probably start it.
I wish he can start this
He's
final.
going to start it, yeah.
Then you're going to see magic.
So let's bring it back now to the squad depth conversation. You're saying that Spain doesn't have the depth.
No depth.
Does England have the depth?
They just have enough.
They just have enough.
They just have enough.
Yeah.
England has your first 11 that you know with this 11 will start, and then you have your super subs. With England, it's predictable. You have your first 11. I won't name them. We all know them. Then you know who's on the bench. First substitution, it has to be, if it's not Tony, it has to be Watkins. After that, followed by Upalmo. Those are guaranteed. And Gallagher, of course, if Rice is not doing the job. So those are your 3 or 4 substitutes that are guaranteed for England. Other than that, who do you put in?
Trent?
Trent. I think Trent was given a run. He failed. He's a quality player. But this tournament is just not for him. Things are not going right for him. I think Vele, coming to this tournament, he wasn't playing regularly for Liverpool. So people expected much from him. And again, what does that show you? It shows you that depth. There's no depth. If you're getting a player who's struggling for game time in his club, but you want him to do miracles in this tournament, it shows you don't have depth. You have Luke Shaw, who was sitting on the sideline for Man United for the longest period, but yet now you're putting him in this tournament in knockout stages. He came in, Luke Shaw. He did well for the minutes that he played. What does that tell you? Why are you getting an injured player to come represent the country? There's no depth.
But he's the only left back they have.
No, that's the problem. That's the depth we're talking about. And again, you said earlier on, I think it was you or it was Mr. Ian, what's this guy? Kyle Walker. He's capable of playing left back. Why not put in Kyle Walker as a left back and Alexander-Arnold on your right back? Why not do that?
Okay, all right. So let's now talk about the goalkeeping department for England, because I know a lot of people don't want to actually touch that one, because even England, you said England were playing out from the back, but what you failed to mention is that when they had to play out from the back, it wasn't the keeper who was starting to play; it was John Stones. So tell me more about the goalkeeping departments for both these teams. Obviously, Unai Simon had to come in and replace Spain's number 1 against France. So do you think that the goalkeeping department is also a sore spot for both teams?
Yeah, it is. But then again, let's say this new generation of goalkeepers, we need them to play like you're number 5. They must be able to play ball, have ball control and distribution. With England, you don't have that in Pickford. But we have to mention the saves. England saved, Pickford saved England. Who's this guy? Van Dijk from Liverpool almost scored a goal in the last minutes. Pickford saved. So you do need him as the showstopper. But unfortunately, playing from the back, it's not
a weakness.
It's a weakness for him. However, if you got Stones there, might as well use them.
All right, so that's where we want to leave the conversation for now. Obviously, now we have to get into the prediction and hear your thoughts around both these sides. I just want to give you one last opportunity to name the strengths that you see from both sides. You don't need to mention it for one for each side, but what are the strengths you think will win this match from either side?
Strengths, starting with Spain. Spain have that experience. They have that winning mentality. The players from Real Madrid. Carnival is also going to be back from. Remember, he was suspended. He's back for this final. So you have a additional experienced guy at the back. I think Lampard, we'll go to him again. I think he will lead Spain. So you have a Real Madrid player there at the back. The experience is there. That winning mentality is there, and they've been in this position. They've taken a Euro a couple of times. That experience is going to go out for them. You go on the other hand. You go to England. England are more hungry. I think England need this more than Spain. Remember last edition, England were knocked out by Italy in the final, in penalties. For them, this is a revenge. So they do have the experience of being. They know how it feels to be in the final and losing the final. So now, rewind a bit. We lost in the final against Italy. Now we should take it. We do have what it takes to win this. We do have the players. What more do we need? England's got everything. England's got everything.
You know what? I'll give uThisha props because at this moment in time, he's saying that England have all the players, they have all the tools in the toy box to go out and win this match. But what he's saying is that the edge is in the winning mentality of the Spanish, the experience from the Spanish. I mean, there's players from City, there's players from I almost said United, players from City, players from Real Madrid, players from Barcelona, players from Leipzig, so many other teams that are accustomed to winning. So now let's get into the prediction, uThisha. The final, Euro 2024. It's England versus Spain. Who is going to win it?
I think finals sometimes have this thing of being unpredictable, disappointments, but coming to this game, my prediction has always been for Spain. Before even they kicked the ball, they went on to prove that Spain, they've through one game, they have 8 games. They won all those 8 games straight, except for one where Germany they won in extra time.
Yeah,
they've never been to penalties.
Yeah.
On the other hand, England has had a shaky tournament.
Yeah,
careless draws. They went on to beat Switzerland in penalties. For them, I think the own downfall is they've played too many unnecessary minutes. They have played too many unnecessary minutes as opposed to Spain. Spain will be fresher. Remember, also Spain played a day before England. And also, that youth from Spain, that youth from Spain, it's too much. I think Spain are taking it. England, next edition, they'll bring it home. Just not this time.
Next edition being the World Cup or the Euro?
No, the Euro.
World
Cup. World Cup. England and the World Cup. Man. Nah, Euros.
Right, so you heard it here first from uThisha weDiski saying it's not coming home. You should expect it to go to the Spanish, who won it in 2008, who won it in 2012 in luxury and in style. They're doing it again, but they're doing it differently this time because if you look at it, he's saying that the magic is in those two wingers right there, Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. Those two boys should start a band because everybody is following them to the top. Thank you for watching uDiski Preview Show. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you will like our content, make sure to share it with a friend and spread the word because the prediction is out. The question is, where will you be watching the game? So drop your location, drop your place. Maybe we might join you and come watch it with you all the way wherever you might be. So in the comment section below, do the right thing. See you next time. My name is Mo, and this is uThisha weDiski.
Done.